All right, the next part we need to remove is the AC receiver dryer. That's going to be located here behind the driver's side rear wheel. I already took the wheel off. This is a fender liner. You got some fasteners in there. I don't know if they put all the original fasteners back in the same spots, but you know, I had T25, T20, I think a T30. Um, like these fasteners here. I mean, this is sockets and stuff there. But anyway, I don't know if those are the original ones. They could have just thrown whatever in there. I don't know. So anyway, there's several fasteners that go around the edge here. There's some up top here, and I think there's one there, and one down here. Some of these are removed when we took the under panel out, but anyway, it's pretty easy. So let me go ahead and put this camera down. I'll pull it out and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, got the fender liner out. Just just grab it from the bottom here, pull it out, and just slide it out this way. Just pull it out; it comes right out. Super easy. All right, there we go. And I believe this is the oil cooler. And then here's your receiver dryer right here. And then there's a bracket here that holds it on. Okay. And then there's two fasteners. We need to remove these two fasteners here. And then we'll take these two fasteners out here, and then we'll slide it out. Okay. So yeah, that's what it looks like under here. Let me show you under here. It's pretty good. And you see my struts. Those are KWs right there. Those are some awesome shocks right there. And yeah, those are pricey too. I think they are around $7,500. So yeah, that's what it looks like under here. And I'm going to do another video in the future. I'm going to pull these out. I'm going to remove the whole suspension here, and I'm going to vapor blast everything. You know, it should look, all these 8 arms and stuff should look like brand new. So yeah, if you want to see all that, just you can subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to do that in the future. And I'm also going to do these brakes calipers. I don't really like this yellow too much, and I don't know, somebody did this to the red. So yeah, I'm going to change this. I might redo this and back in black, and then I'm going to do these in like a green, like a lime green color. And I got some new script to put on here too, so we're gonna do that. I got some new brake pads coming too from I guess you pronounce it, is it Gyrodisc or Gyrodisc, out of California. So I ordered some ceramic pads to get rid of some of the dust for street driving. I drive this a lot on the street, so so yeah, I got some pads that'll so those are on the way here, and then that'll be a future video. So let me go ahead and you find out what size these are, and let me take those loose, and then let me get this out of here, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, got it out. Really easy. So the 2 bolts up there, I just used T30 to get that bolt out. Okay, and then the 2 fasteners here were 8mm socket. I just used to get those out there. Okay, and so basically, this receiver dryer, it won't slide out of the way because it hits on this pipe here. So you kind of push this way here, push this back, and then pull this receiver dryer out, and this thing will open up, and then just slide it out. Okay, really easy. And then here it is right here. Okay, and that's it. It's a lot bigger than what I thought. And then that's the part number right there. Okay. 08. Huh. I think if that's right, that date, maybe when they put the AC in, because I want to say this was a year or so ago that the compressor went out and it failed. I don't know, could be wrong. Maybe even 2 years, but I think it was a year ago or so that they fixed the car. So I don't know if this was changed or not. I don't know. It could be old stock or something, but if that is a date, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to put a new one in it now, so. And that's what it looks like there. Okay. So I'm going to take this to the Audi dealership tomorrow and see if I can see if they'll have this in stock. And then if not, I can order online. I've seen it as cheap as $20. The problem is I can't look at it and see if it'll match up. So anyway, we'll try and get one tomorrow. That way I can get this thing done. Tomorrow is Friday, and see if I can get this AC done this weekend. So, but anyway, this is out. Yeah, it wasn't too bad at all. So, so yeah, so let me. It's already late here. I think it's like 12:30 at night here in Florida. So, what I'm gonna do is I'll call it a night tonight, and then we'll come back tomorrow. Hopefully, uh, I can get. I bought some oil today, some PAG oil for the compressor, and the guy told me it was. They had a couple of different viscosities. They had a 46, they had a 100, and it had a 150. And where I went to the auto parts place, he told me it was going to be a 100 for this vehicle here, and he was wrong. It was a 46. Luckily, I checked on the side of the compressor before I poured it in there. So anyway, I have to go get some more of that tomorrow. So hopefully, I can get this receiver dryer here in town in Jacksonville, and then Florida, and then I can get the PAG oil. And if I can get all that, then we can get this thing finished up this weekend. So let me call it a night, and I'll come back tomorrow, and we'll continue from there. All right. So here's the old compressor here. Um, yeah. So I checked it out, and it looks the same as this one here. Kind of. There's a couple little differences, but yeah, I'm sure it's a different manufacturer. But it's pretty. All the mounting points are the same looks. The only thing's different looks really like is this bracket's on here, so I'll probably just take this bracket off because it might hit on the heat shield of the exhaust. So I'll just take it off just in case. But other than that, it looks the same. Even the plugs. I checked the. That's one thing you want to do because I've had this happen on the other vehicles too. Is the plugs might look the same, right? Which these look the same, but the wiring could be backwards because I've had that happen before too. It'll drive you nuts trying to figure it out. So the wiring's the same, the colors are the same, whether as the old compressor. It matches the pins on there. So make sure you check that too if you get an aftermarket compressor. Yeah, so you see how this one spins nice and smooth. But let me see if we can turn this without falling over here. This one, see it? You can probably hear it. Yeah, it's shot. It's real notchy. So yeah, this was definitely the problem. This is what I was hearing under there. So I don't know if a bearing went out or something. I don't know. We're gonna tear this down. So I'll probably tear this down after we get the car finished up, and then we'll come back and then we'll look at this right here. So yeah, I got all the parts over here. You see, I tag and bag everything. I'm getting ready to tag all these here. So yeah, make sure you do that, and it'll keep everything organized, and that way it'll be easier putting it back together. It takes a little bit more time, but it'll go back together a lot faster. Okay, so yeah, so the next thing we're going to do now is we have to remove the AC dryer. So let me go ahead and get over to the back of the car, and I'll show you what's going on over there. All right, so here's what it looks like with the AC compressor out. This is the bracket where the compressor bolts in at right there. Over here, that's where the back bolt of the compressor bolts into. And let me see here. Over there, like I showed you earlier, there's that rubber boot. That's where the shaft comes out and goes to the compressor, which turns it. Okay. Let's see, we got our AC lines. I got them all covered up now. Heat shield for the exhaust, for the exhaust manifolds. And if you notice here, see the block, how clean it is. This is the new short block, Taylor. This was right before he passed, Taylor of Dallas Performance, when I talked to him. Yeah, I was very sad what happened to him. God, he was like the nicest guy too. But anyway, Taylor told me that this block only had 3,000 miles on it, and yeah, they put it into the short block. I think he said it was out of a LP, not LP, but a Huracan. Yeah, it was out of a Huracan, so I don't know what year or whatever it was, but yeah, so very low miles. And these pieces here, I don't know if these are the heads off the other engine or not. I have no idea, but I'm sure they had tons of parts there laying around, so they just kind of built an engine out of the parts they had. But this thing runs fantastic. It runs great. Very, very strong engine. So anyway, yeah. So let me get the compressor. What we need to do now is figure out we got to get that thing, put some oil in it and stuff, so we can get it prepped and get it ready to go and put it back in. So let's head over to the compressor now. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is I got to get, I have to get oil into this compressor before we install it. So I'm trying to figure out the amount of oil we have to add to it. I tried to look online, couldn't find nothing. Sometimes there's a label under the hood of the vehicle that'll tell you how much PAG oil to add. There's not one on my vehicle that I can see. And then I tried to check in the service manual, and I couldn't find it. So I just don't know if I'm looking in the wrong spots or whatever. But I've spent hours trying to find this information out, and I can't find it. So what I'm going to do is I found a chart online that basically goes through, and it has a list of different compressors. So you try to match up the one that you got to what the list that they have there. And what they do is they'll give you a certain amount of PAG oil you need to add to that compressor, and then it also tells you that if you remove a certain component out of the system, and then it tells you an amount to add if you remove that component, say like a receiver or dryer or something like that. So another way to do it too is if you have a compressor like this, you can take it, tilt it up, and drain the oil out of these ports here, and you can also turn this to try to get some of that oil to come out of it. And then you measure that, and then you want to put that same amount into the new compressor. And you might just add a little bit more because you're not going to get it all the way out, but it'll give you a basis of a starting point anyway, okay? This one here is completely dry. I could not get one drop to come out of it. I have no why there's no oil in it. So, I don't know. I've never seen that before. So what we're going to have to do, that's probably why it failed. So what we're going to have to do is, by the chart that I got and by reading that, it's saying that this is going to need approximately 2.4 ounces of oil added to the system for removing this and for removing the receiver dryer that we took out under the fender well in the rear of the car. So 2.4 ounces. So what I did was I measured out 2.4 ounces in this cup here. And then, and of course, it's calling for PAG 46 oil. And I poured that into the ports here. And then I turned the front of the compressor to get it to work it. You put the even amount in both ports, and then you work it through by turning this right here, okay? So yeah, so I did that already. So it has the oil in the compressor already, and that'll distribute through the system as it's running. Okay. And one thing to watch out for too is these ports here were covered from the factory. This is a new compressor, and you see the rubber stoppers and everything. When you pull those out, be careful because sometimes they're under pressure. This one was under pressure. When I pulled this big one out, it was like an explosion. I mean, it was pow, really powerful, and lucky I didn't have my eye by there because it was pretty strong. So just be careful when you remove ports out of compressors because they could be under pressure. Okay, so we got that done there. So I think what we're going to do now is I need to take this bracket off here because the other one didn't have it, and I don't know if it's going to interfere with anything in the car. So I'm just going to take that off, and then also we have to take this shaft off here. I have to remove this off here, so I got to try and fight with that. I couldn't get it in the car because it was really hard, so I'm going to try and do it out, and hopefully it'll come out. And if for some reason it will not come out still, probably the last resort is I'll just take this one off because it's just a flange. I'll just take this one off, and I'll just put this assembly on here. But that'll be the last resort. So let me try to get this done, and I'll come back. All right, so we got the bracket off that was right here. That's taken off, and then I got the shaft right here. You see right here, I got that front of that pulley off. And you got to be careful with some of these rotating parts like this because sometimes they could have a backwards thread. This one doesn't seem to have that one. Let me just show you what it looks like right here, how it goes in and out here. So you can see how it threads in. Let me see. There we go. Okay. So it looks just like a normal bolt. Okay. All right. So, and then also, let me show you something here. Get it out. The front of this right here, it had a lot of, I don't know, like burnt something was like burnt oil or something. I don't know what it was. So it was something all over here. So I just cleaned that off and just got it nice and smooth and clean. Just use some 1500 grit paper and just clean it up. Okay. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get this thing put in. I'll put some oil on this first right here. Lubricate that. We'll stick it in that rubber boot where the engine is. And then we'll go ahead and get this compressor, get it in that general area. We'll get this started here, and then well, let me just go ahead and get it put in, and I'll show you when I get it sort of in there. I'll come back to you. Okay, so we're back under the car. Let me see if I can. We're going to stick this shaft. So I took it right here, put some oil on it. Okay, just engine oil, and I'm gonna try to feed this through here and get it inside that boot. Let me see if I can see. It's gonna be kind of hard here. I'm trying to look through the camera to see this. What do you see here? Okay, I think I got it. Try to push it and turn it and work it through. Okay, there. Just gotta make sure the boot don't collapse. Okay, there it goes. Make sure it's gonna. Okay, there it goes. All right, it's through the boot. All right, there we go. Okay, it's not in the. Let me see. Let's see if I can get it to go. Okay, let me put this camera down and see if I can get this to slide in. Make sure it goes in good, and then I'll come back. All right, so what I decided to do, instead of putting the shaft into the engine, I decided to just go back and just screw it into here, into the front part of the compressor, and just tighten it down. Okay, so I got this in there. It's nice and tight. One thing I did notice when I did put this shaft in there is there must be a set of gears or something in there that ride, like say in this position here. Because what happened is if I push the shaft in more, the gears, as it went in farther in the engine, it would go right here, and then the shaft would spin. And then what happened is you have to pull the shaft back this way, sort of out of the engine, to pull it like out of the engine to where the gears would line up again right here, and it would catch. So there's a spot behind the set of gears. There's a little there's an area there where it doesn't catch at all. And so wow, I didn't know that. I thought it would, at least the shaft would go in and it would stop and go inside of something and stop, but it doesn't. It'll actually go past the gears wherever it's inside the engine right there. So I decided to go ahead and just put the shaft on, and then I'll put the compressor in and just line the shaft up and push it in the engine. So let me go ahead and get that done now. Okay. This is what we got. We got it in there. All right, so you can see the shaft is in there, right? Okay, we oiled up the shaft where we stuck it in the rubber boot there. The shaft, of course, was mounted on the compressor. We slid it all in as one unit together. And last time, we took these bolts off and separated it. So yeah, put it in there. One thing I want to tell you is this bolt right here, it wants to hit on this shield right here. So what you need to do is, as you're putting this compressor up, put that bolt in first, push it up past this part of the shield here, and then go ahead and start this bolt here and start this one here. And then the compressor needs to go ahead and snug these up a little bit to get the compressor to pull up, to roll up, and then go ahead and get this started here. And then you can tighten all these up. Okay, so that one was kind of in the way, this shield, and I couldn't get it to slide through. And another thing is, this bracket right here that holds the wire, I had it facing down and it needed to go up, so I had to loosen this up, rotate it up, and retighten it down and remark it again. Okay, and then I zip tied the cable here, right here, because it was up and I didn't want the chance of it flopping around as I drive the car and hit the heat shield and melt to it. Okay, so I went ahead and tied that up right there. Before it was just flopping around. And then the lines here. So what it is, I was putting the compressor up when I was getting ready to attach the lines. When I pulled the plugs, oil started pouring out. Okay, so I had to plug it back up real quick. And then what you have to do is I put this line on it to get it to stop coming out. And when I did, I couldn't get this line on. right here, because this line has to go on first, because this came off last, because this line's in the way you put this on. So don't put this bolt in. You can go ahead and put that in, just don't put that bolt in. You have to rotate this up, just in case if you have oil pouring out. Rotate this up, and then you can get this to slide on. And then go ahead and put this bolt in, tighten this up. So what I did was, when the oil came out, it was a small amount, but it still was enough to be where my, the oil was definitely going to be low. So what I did was I put it in you see the bottle. Hold on, let me get this bottle out here. I had a bottle here. It was actually new, and it's used to spray fuel in carburetors and stuff like that. So what I did was I put some pag oil in there, and then I sprayed it in the low side here, and put some in there, and then it started coming out the low side too. So I went ahead and put the line on. That stopped it from coming out. So put this line on first, unless oil starts pouring out the high side. Probably next time what I'll do is just pour it in the low side, turn it, and suck it in, because this is the suction side right here. So anyway, put this line in first, tighten it down, then put this line in. Unless it's coming out of here, then you can put it in, but just leave the bolt out and rotate it, and then tighten this up last, okay? So that's all tightened down. I got them marked, so that's all good there. So everything looks good. Everything's good, so I think we're ready to put in the oil pump / water pump. That should be pretty easy, all right? So let me go ahead and get that unit. I'm going to wipe it down because it's a little bit dirty. Wipe it down real quick, and then let me go ahead and get that in place, and I'll show you what it looks like. Well, I got this pretty much mostly done, and I wish I could have went through the process of showing you how I installed this oil pump / water pump unit, but there was just no way I could actually manhandle this pump assembly and hold the camera at the same time. So maybe I do have a tripod. I'm just afraid I'm gonna knock it over and then destroy my my phone, because I film all this with my phone, and just break it. So, but let me go over it with you real quick, and let me try to show you exactly what happened during the process. So first of all, I took this assembly here, and I picked it up, and basically there's a shaft right here. Okay, so that's the first thing I did was I kind of picked this up, angle it in here, get that shaft, those splines to line up with this case here, with the shaft inside here. Once I get that on there, and once I get that on there where it's kind of holding a little bit, then I kind of lift this up. And I was trying different ways of doing it with the compressor in there. I just found out I just had to basically tighten everything down and get it in that position there. And what happens is when you push this up, right here, if you see there's a part of this piece of metal, this flange or something right here. It looks like a plate that goes between these pump housings here. But that hits on the compressor. So you got to kind of angle the pump right here. You got to angle it this way a little bit to get it to clear, and then you can kind of shove it in and kind of work it this way a little bit. Okay? And then once you get that, you have another problem, and this is probably why they recommend you to go ahead and pull the engine out. There's a water pipe. I don't know if I remember I showed you. Maybe I'll get a picture of it, and I'll put it in the video after the video here. But there's a water pipe. It's a plastic one that runs from the front here. It's under here. You can't see it. The front here assembly goes all the way back, and it goes into the engine. Well, you cannot see that pipe. When you're putting this up, you're going blind, and you basically have to try to, hopefully it'll slide into place. And then that's what happened to me earlier, is because I had to redo this twice. Is I put it all together, I tried to line that pipe up, I put it in there, and what happened with me is I put the plastic pipe, I pulled it off of this oil pump unit, and it was easier for me to stick it into the engine first and have it coming out, and then try to guide the oil pump on there as I'm pushing it up. And then I thought I had it on there, and then I put everything together, went up, put antifreeze in it, and it just poured right out. Okay, and the problem is I have one of those cameras, like snake cameras, and I can put it in through, this was before I put all these hoses up here on, but there's a little area where I can kind of work that little camera, work it down here, and I can get inside here, and I can see the pipe where it hooks into the engine here, up inside here, but I can't see where it hooks up into this pump assembly up on the top up here. So what I decided to do was I took this all back down again and hooked the pipe in to the pump housing here, to the water pump here, and then as the pipe was sticking out, because I have to hook this side in first and then angle this up. So I took the pipe, it fits into the water pump housing, and then as it's sticking out, I kind of angled it up a little bit. So as I'm pushing this, I know it sounds complicated, but as I'm pushing this on, when I tilt this up, hopefully the pipe would just go into the engine. So I had to do that like multiple times to try and get it. And then once I think I got it, then I kind of take this assembly here. As long as I can get this flange right here to clear the compressor, then I kind of swing it over this way a little bit, and then I kind of move it around a little bit, and then it kind of slides in. Sometimes it slides in, sometimes it doesn't. Kind of moves in, but you know you got it right when these holes line up here for this oil pump and for this water pump right here. These holes line up where you can get the bolts in. Okay, that's when you know you got it. So yeah, that was a nightmare. So I spent like over 3 hours trying to get that to line up, and then, like I said, once I put the pipe in here first, I was able to stick the camera up through here, and then I could see this end perfect because the camera was facing that way up inside here, and I can stick. And then I was able to get the camera up here and look in there, and I can actually took some pictures of the pipe. I'll put that in the video. I'll put it in right here. Okay, I'll just splice it in the camera there. Splice it in the video, I mean. So yeah, I have a picture of that, and it was definitely in place, so it went in. This side, I knew it was already in because I put it in, but the other side is where I had to guide it blindly. So there's no way I can tell I got it. Luckily, I had that little camera to where I could, it's on like a snake. I had it in one of my other videos. Hold on, let me go get it and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, just in case you didn't watch, because I use this on one of my other videos too. So yeah, this is it right here. You can kind of bend this around. You can shape this, however you want it. And then I was able to get it in there, and then look on the screen and see that the pipe was into the engine. It had fit in there perfectly. Okay, so that's how I was able to check it. So yeah, let's see what else I could tell you. Yeah, so once I got this assembly in here, like I said, I put the compressor in first, bolted that down, hooked the lines up. Okay, then I went ahead and put this water pump in, hooked the shaft in first, make sure this flange is off to the side here, kind of bend that pipe up a little bit, make sure it's sticking in here, and then guide that water pipe in. Hopefully it connects. And then once I shake it, and once it slides into place and these bolt holes line up, then I go ahead and put these fasteners all in. And then I put in the mounting bolt right here. There's one mounting bolt there, and there's another one. You can't see it now, it's behind these pipes, so there's another one there. And then I put the hard pipe in next. Okay. Put the hard pipe in. You got to kind of snake it around here. Do it before you put the hoses in because it's impossible almost. So once I got that hard pipe in, I kind of took it in, kind of just, cause these hoses are not here. Hold on, let me shut this camera up and turn it on with the lighting. Okay. So I didn't hook these hoses up yet. There's actually I left this housing off because remember I had it tied up on the side of the engine. So with this housing off, then you can put the hard pipe in, and then it bolts in right there, and then goes here. And then remember I went through the frame here on the side. I just went through for both of these fasteners here, and it was super easy. Okay, and then after that, I put the housing on, I just cut it loose from on this side of the engine. I had it tied up, swung it around here, and bolted it on. Okay, and once I got that on, then I had to work. There's that hose right here. I had to work it up, and you can see it's right here. Just work it up, stick it through there, and there's like a little. You'll see like there's a little hole where you can kind of guide it in through, and then just follow this hose basically and go on top of it, and then it'll come out over here on top of the big hose. The big hose is on the backside here. This hose is on top of the big hose back here. You can't see it. That's it. Put the fastener on. It's good to go. Okay, and then bolt this down for the oil line. I think that's a return coming in from the cooler. Okay, 2 fasteners there, and I think that's it. So yeah, so then once I got this all buttoned up here, I tightened everything down, and I, of course, put my yellow marks on the bolts as I tightened them down. And I started from the center here and worked my way out. Okay. And then I put the marks on as I tightened them up. Same thing with all the bolts here. I marked them as I tightened them up. Okay. So yeah, all those fasteners there. Yeah, I think that's it. So lowered the car back down. Once I finished that, put coolant in it, and there you go. She's not leaking at all. Okay. And I was actually able to reuse the coolant. I put it in, when I drained it, I put it in a brand new bucket. And then I also used a screen, a really fine mesh screen, as I poured it back in the engine, just in case that there was something, some kind of small particles of trash or something I missed. So I screened it, the fluid, as I put it back in the reservoir. So I was able to reuse it because it's new, because this engine was just put in. So I didn't want to waste the fluid. There's so much of it. There's no sense of doing that. So I just reused it, and it turned out perfect. So no leaks. It looks fantastic now. So yeah, that's it. It was not fun doing this at all, but I got it done. And so now all I got to do now is drain the rest of the oil. I got new oil and new filter, and so I'm going to do that. And then once I finish that up, and then I can go ahead and I'm waiting on the receiver dryer. It'll be here in a couple of days. I had to order it. And then, but at least once I change the oil in, I can fire it up, let it warm up, and let the thermostat open up, and let the fluid start flowing through, and then I can top off the antifreeze. So, but that's it for tonight. It's probably about 12 o'clock tonight. So it took me a while to get this done, but I just try to do a little bit every night, when I can. I have to work a normal job too during the day. So I just do this, on the nights when I can. So yeah, let me, I guess we'll get the oil drained. I'll do that tomorrow, and then I'll come back and we'll go over everything again. Okay, so we have the new receiver dryer in right here. We got this from Amazon. I just ordered it for an Audi R8 5.2 V10. There was nothing for Lamborghini. Of course, I kind of knew that when I ordered it. But and then here's the old one, and I matched them up, and I looked at them good. The ports are in the same area. Where it says in right here, it's in the same area here. The pins that were in here now, I pulled those out of here, and I just used a pair of pliers and just kind of grabbed them and just pulled them right on out, and then tapped them into the new one. So it looks the same. Looks good. So let's go ahead and get this put in and see if it fits good. All right, so we got the new receiver dryer in. Like I said, I can't put this in. I wish I could show you me actually installing things, but I can't hold this at the same time I do this. So just have to bear with me on that, guys. So anyway, basically, I just spread this open a little bit and kind of put it in from the bottom here. Okay, and it's a little tight trying to get that in there. And then this pipe is in the way too, so you got to kind of push up like this, and it'll go in there. 8mm socket to tighten these down. Do not over tighten these, okay? As soon as that touches, stop, because this plastic will actually split right here, okay? The lines are in perfect. They fit perfect. So this receiver dryer looks like it's going to work good. All right, so I already got these tightened down. I'm going to go ahead and mark these. Let me get my pen and mark them. I'll get those in a minute. I'll just mark it when I get down here. But yeah, so it looks good. It looks really good. So now I'm going to hook up my my pump, and I'm going to go ahead and vacuum this system down, and then we'll check it for leaks, and we'll see if it holds pressure. I'll probably vacuum it down and hook the gauges on it, and then we'll see if it'll hold the vacuum for like maybe about 30 minutes. And if it holds, then we can go ahead and recharge it. So let me go ahead and get that hooked up now.